then
It's done.
They're going to keep it.
It's done.
Oh, yeah. It's available on Amazon as well.
That's great.
Okay. Dr. Jolley?
Yep.
Are you online? We'll live in a second. I think they have that figured out, hopefully. Well, a special good afternoon to one and all. Thank you so very much for joining me today on Viewpoint. One more here with you, along with my guest, who I will introduce to you in a minute. Just want to thank you so very much for those of you who have been following us on live. Just a reminder that the live stream is up once again, so you can go to tvcarib.com or you can go to my website. When you get there, there's a banner that shows you how you can get into the conversation and see the faces behind the conversation. Well, as you might have heard, because it was the news, that I will be joined by Dr. Willey Jolley today. So for those of you who don't know who he is, you'll find out more about who he is and what he brings to the table and how important it is for him to share and to be in St.Maarten, first of all, and to share much of what he is involved with. He is an author. Yes, he's also a public speaker. He's on so many different podcasts. I don't even want to get started. I'll spend the rest of the morning trying to give you his accolades. But, he's one who has committed his life to helping people rise above their circumstances and maximize their God-given possibilities. He has written a book that you'll hear much of the conversation today about, because I want to know what was in his mind, why he did it, and whether he did it for a certain sector of people, or rather, if he did it for everyone to consume and to make better. The book is called Rich is Good and Wealthy is Better. Straight out of DC, folks, Dr. Willey Jolley is here. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Well, it's an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure to be on with you, Brother Wendell. I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds, and it forced upon me, can't refuse it. I didn't seek it, did not choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer. If I lose it, give account. If I abuse it, just a tiny little minute, but our eternities are wrapped up in it. So I'm grateful for this minute, this moment, this opportunity to be on with you, to all our friends here in St.Maarten, as well as those around the Caribbean or around the world who might be watching. Thank you for having me as your guest today.
Well, guess what? I had the privilege of being exposed to your bio, and I realized that you've been talking to people who have lots of money.
I have.
But it so happened that my audience may not be in that category, so you're going to have to justify where the connection is.
They can be in that category.
Okay.
And that's what I'm going to tell them today.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell them how.
But I'm going to ask you how.
Oh, I'm going to tell anybody, I don't care how much money you make presently, how you can become wealthy. So everybody needs to tune in.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to take out a pad and a pen or a piece of paper or iPad or iPhone to take notes. And then everybody needs to share this with their friends and family members. Tune in, listen. And if they're not able to listen now, watch the live stream later or the replay. Because this is going to be a life-changing program. It's going to be a transformational program. And it's not going to change just the person who is watching it or listening to it right now. It's going to change their children's grandchildren. Stay tuned.
Okay. All right. The inspiration to write this book.
Okay. So
why don't you just share that?
But first, let me just tell people, some people might not know who this guy Willey Jolley is. I am a professional speaker, and I am a radio show host and an author. I wrote a book that became a global bestseller called A Setback is a Setup for a Comeback.
Okay.
And that book took me all over the world. One day, I was speaking for Black Enterprise for their annual big conference in Nashville, Tennessee. And I said from the stage to all the people in this, thousands and thousands of people, I said, I would love to stay around a day and be here all day, but I'm only going to be able to stay around a short while, sign some books, take some pictures. Then I have to leave because I'm on my way to St.Maarten. And a group of people, just one section of the whole place jumped up and said, "We're from St.Maarten. We're from St.Maarten." And one of those people was Don Hughes, the owner of PJDT2 Radio. So he and a guy named Greg Arundel and a few others, they said, "We're going to talk to you after it's over." So we talked, and they said, "When you come to St.Maarten, can we connect for dinner?" I said, "Absolutely." And we became friends. That's been over 20 years ago. And so that book, A Setback Setup for a Comeback, offered me the opportunity to travel around the world and meet people like Don and others. So for 20 years now, I've been on Sirius XM Radio, which is the top radio network in America, as well as the Willey Jolley podcast, Wealthy Ways podcast, interviewing billionaire after billionaire after billionaire. It's Wealthy Ways. I don't talk about pop culture. I don't talk about politics. I only talk about wealth. Over these years, I've interviewed people like Bill Marriott, the owner of Marriott Hotels, David Stewart, the wealthiest black man in America, Bob Johnson, America's first black billionaire, his former wife, Sheila Johnson, who is the first black woman billionaire. I've interviewed David Rubenstein, the billionaire. I've interviewed Damon John and John Hope Bryant, and one millionaire, billionaire after another. And I thought, Brother Wendell, that I knew what wealth was. I host a show called The Wealthy Ways Show. But one day, about 4 or 5 years ago, that proverbial light bulb went off above my head where I said, "Oh, what I thought was wealth was wrong. Oh my goodness. I was wrong." So I started going around the country doing my speeches, and I'd ask people, I do a survey. What to you folks is rich? Number one answer was always $1 million. You got $1 million, you're rich. Okay, well, if rich is $1 million, then what's wealthy to you? And they think, they ponder, they look up in the air, they say, I guess it's 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, $1 billion. So I realized then that they did not know either. So then I go back to those billionaires I'd interviewed. I call them on the phone and say, "Here's my theory. Am I right?" "You're absolutely right. And it's a secret that most people don't know." Your job, Willie, because you write books, you're on television, you're on radio, is to share the secret. Share it widely so we can get more people to become wealthy. And so I started working on the book. Now, why is it important? Most people don't know what is wealthy. If you don't know what is wealthy, how will you ever hit it? So if I gave everybody who's listening a baseball, a rock, something in their hand and said, hit a wall that's close to you, and you hit the wall, would it be pretty easy? Yes, of course. Now, if I gave you that same baseball again, and I said, I want you to do it again. Oh, before you do it this time, I'm going to put a blindfold over your eyes, and I'm going to turn you around and around and around till you don't know what direction you're facing. Is it still as easy to hit the same wall? No, because you can't hit what you cannot see, and you cannot hit what you do not know. And so my job is to educate and share with people the difference between being rich and being wealthy. I'll tell you one more story. I was in Cleveland, Ohio, about 2 months ago. And I'm speaking there on a Friday night with Ben Crump, the super lawyer. Then I'm going to speak at the church on Sunday. So Saturday is open. A friend of mine who's a publisher takes me to a fancy restaurant. My bride and I go to a fancy restaurant. While we're there, one of the star players from the Cleveland Browns football team is walking by with his entourage. My friend knows this young man and says, "Come over, I want you to meet Dr. Willey Jolley." The young man and his entourage come over. He had the jewelry around the neck and the fur coat and the diamonds and everything, and he's looking good. I said, "Great, that looks good."
Indicative of wealth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In some degree.
Yeah. And so my friend says to the young football player, said, "This is Dr. Willey Jolley. He teaches people how to become wealthy." And the young football player says, "I'm already wealthy, but I guess I can get his card so I can get more wealth." I gave him my card. He walked away. And I said to my friend, I don't know that young man's finances, but I can bet you dimes to dollars. He thinks he's wealthy. He's rich, and rich is good. The owner's wealthy. See, that young man comes to the stadium on Sundays. He puts on his football gear. He catches the ball. He runs the ball. He sweats. He gets tackled. He goes through hours on the field running and catching and jumping. And when it's over, he showers, gets in an ice tub to get the paint off his body. Then he goes home. Hopefully when he gets home, he has a net worth of at least $1 million left. The owner comes to the stadium. He doesn't run. He doesn't jump. He doesn't catch the ball. He's never tackled. He sits in the owner's box. He sips his favorite drink. He eats his favorite food. And when he leaves, he has a net worth of over $1 billion. He's the owner of the team. And when that young man is no longer productive or gets hurt, that owner's going to replace him with another young man just like him. See, rich is good, but wealthy is so much better. So let me give you the secret right up top, right at the front of this show. The difference between being rich and wealthy that everybody needs to know, and most people don't. Rich is the result of money you earn from what you do. And the better you are at doing it, the more money people will pay you for it. Wealthy is money you generate from what you own. Let me say it again. Rich is the result of money you earn from what you do during the day, typically. Wealthy is money you generate from what you own while you sleep. And this is where I said anybody can become wealthy. Because some people say, well, I don't make enough money to own anything. Not true, not true, not true. In the book, I have a whole chapter of people who did not make a lot of money, became wealthy. The most profound example is Mary Ellen Pleasant. She was a domestic worker in the early 1900s. She cleaned people's homes. She washed their clothes. She never made more than $6,000 a year. But she lived below her means. She invested. And when she died, she had a net worth of $2.7 million. It's not about how much money you make, it's what you do with the money. And so, to be wealthy, you have to have it's like a stool with 3 legs. The first leg is income. If you're making income, you're on your way, you could potentially be wealthy. But you must live below your means. And then do the second leg, invest. So you income and then you invest. And then the third leg is insurance. You got to have insurance to protect the asset. So that if you have a calamity, a crisis, a disaster come upon your life, a fire, a car accident, a health issue, that you don't have to go into your nest egg to fix it. You have insurance to protect that nest egg. Rich is good.
Okay.
Wealthy is better.
Are we guilty of living above our means at times? And
most people are. Most people live up to the limit of the money they make or more. They have credit cards, and they will max out their credit cards. And let me tell you something. I was one of them people. Okay, so don't think let me say for the record, I'm not a financial planner. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a really good listener. For 20 years, I took copious notes from these billionaires. I wrote notes. And then I gathered all those notes and put it in a book. And so what we see from lifestyles is most people live at the limit or above. And they make the above getting a loan, some sort of loan. Now, they get a house loan, they get credit card loans, they get personal loans, and then they have to pay those back with interest. And so the people I've interviewed said, you want to try and stop doing that. You want to live below your means. And you want to invest. If you don't have any, what we call margin, one of the guys I interviewed said, you got to have margin. Now, margin is that amount of space that you have that you can then invest that difference. He said, that's where you grow your wealth. And so, yes, the answer is most people live below their means.
Mhm. And it's not really reserved. The wealth is not reserved for one set of people
Oh
because
no,
at a given moment,
you would think so, wouldn't
yeah,
you? No. See, those who invest, let's say in stock market, let's just say in stocks. Stock market don't care what color you are. Most people invest in the stock market online nowadays. They don't ask you what your color is. I know people who invest in stock market. Who I got a guy who I recently talked to. He's 72 years old. He was a fireman. He retired from the fire department, and they gave him a lump sum retirement check, $10,000. He decided I could buy a new car or put a down payment on a new car. I could go on a vacation, but I'm going to invest this money. I've been hearing about stocks. He learned how to invest with stocks with a guy who I had on my XM show named J.R. Fenwick. He took a class from J.R. Fenwick on how to invest. He invested the $10,000, and then he kept doing investments of every little bonus check he got, every little bit. That was 7 years ago. He told me he had now a portfolio of $980,000
wow,
in 7 years.
mm.
So they didn't care what color he was. The
Yeah.
stock market doesn't care. Okay.
It's not reserved for any
No.
one set of people. Okay, here's my takeaway thus far.
Yes.
Because I feel like you're saying that you don't even have to have $1 million
No.
in order to be able to
No.
generate wealth.
No.
All right. So you said make some room for investment. That's what you said.
Live below your means.
Live below your means. I have
And
everything down to
and invest the difference. And then be consistent about it. Then develop. Wealth starts in your mind. Wealth starts in your mind. See, you can get rich on accident. You can play the lottery and get hit the lottery.
Jackpot. Yeah.
You hit the jackpot. Woo! You're rich.
Yeah.
But wealth is a series of decisions that you make. Now, let's look at the people who get rich on the lottery. Statistics show that most are back where they started 5 years later. Okay, they hit the $1 million, but they went through it because they made decisions that did not grow the money. Regular people work for their money. Wealthy people let their money work for them. Let me say that again. Regular people work for their money. Wealthy people make their money work for them. And so you can get rich on accident, but wealth is a series of decisions that you make every day over and over again. Case in point. My wife and I, when we got married, we had a little beat up car. We finally, we had a thought of the family and went to visit her father in Virginia. And he said, that little car is not going to work for my grandson. We need to get you a good car. So he
The
called,
grandson or my son?
well, grandson, that baby. When that baby got here, he wanted to protect that baby.
Okay.
Me and my wife were okay, but that baby, he loved that baby.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we got to get a good car for you to ride that baby around in.
Okay, gotcha.
So he called one of his friends who had a car dealership. Guy came over, took us over to the dealership and said, we're going to put you in a nice car. I said, well, we don't make a lot of money. He said, we'll work it out. We ended up leaving there that day, never asking the interest rate. We got a car loan for 72 months. Over those 72 months, we actually paid for that car 3 times, okay? We bought it 3 times with interest and all of that. We paid a lot of interest because we didn't know better.
Okay.
If we can teach people how to think differently, they'll make different decisions. And rather than me buying a car that over 72 months, it would have been better if I bought the best car I could pay for cash. It might have been an old car, but it's just a safe car. And then save my money to buy a car, the next car cash. But I didn't know. And so that's why I'm saying to people, when you know more, you can do better. Okay?
All right. I want to tap into the 5 monetary mindsets that exist. But before we get there,
Yeah.
I need to take a break. because
Yes.
I'm getting carried away here because I'm all into what you're saying
Yes, sir.
to the point where I don't want to miss out when it comes to what I'm
We gotta
obliged
pay
to
the
do.
bills. We gotta
Yeah,
have some
exactly.
commercials.
So let
I'm
me
in
take,
radio, so I understand.
all right, let's pay the bills in a minute. We'll be right back, folks. And welcome back to a conversation. Dr. Willey Jolley is here, and of course, you can already begin to get excited about what he has to share. Some of which I'm sure that is not far fetched. It's not far away. It's just going to work a little bit of discipline in there. If you can only get the components, that would help you start thinking about what in the minds of people in general, because you make reference that in the United States, and we are no different here, there are five different mindsets, money mindsets. What are they, and what should we avoid?
Yes, there are 5 different money mindsets, and I think everybody can identify with them, and everybody is in one of them. Okay, the lowest level mindset is the 1 day mindset. That's people who live day to day. Now, in America, we often will see people with a cardboard box with a written note on it, give me enough money to live today. Now, here in the Caribbean, you might see somebody who might be homeless, who lives day to day, or who is saying, give me handout just to make it through the day. But whatever the case is, they live day to day, and every day they repeat the same cycle. Then you got the 30-day mindset. People who think month to month. We typically say they're on fixed income, that they're on government assistance, or they're on retirement, or they're on, in America, Social Security. And they think month to month, because every month, beginning of the month, they get a payment. And that's how they live, month to month. Then you get the third mindset is year to year. People think year to year. Did I get a cost of living raise this year? Did I make more money this year than last year? And they gauge their lives on a year to year cycle. That's all they think about, 1 year at a time. But then you get the decade to decade people. Now, you typically see those people as entertainers, athletes, someone like that. In America, a baseball player will get a 10-year contract to play baseball. $100 million. And for 10 years, oh my goodness, he's living the high. Oh my God, he got 5 Bentleys, 4 Rolls Royces. He's got homes. He's got fur coats, jewelry. He's living the high life for 10 years. But if that contract is not renewed or he gets hurt, then he has to either modify his lifestyle or he's going to be broke. And that is why over 70% of professional athletes in America are broke 5 years after retirement. Or people who hit the lottery. Same difference.
Yeah.
5 years, they're broke. But the fifth mindset is the one I want everybody to pursue. It's the wealth mindset. And the Bible tells us and teaches us that a good man or woman leaves an inheritance for their children's children's grandchildren. So my goal with this book is to get each level to go up 1 level. See, it'd be too big a jump for that man or woman on the 1 day to jump to the wealth overnight. But if I can get the 1 day person to go up to the 30-day, 30-day person to go up to the 1 year, the 1 year person to go up to the 10-year, and the 10-year to go up to the wealth mindset, then I've done my job. I want to encourage everybody to go to richisgood, wealthyisbetter.com. richisgood, wealthyisbetter.com. You can get the digital book right now. You can download it right now at a reasonable price. I mean, almost nothing. And you can start reading it right now. richisgood, wealthyisbetter.com. Or if you can't remember that, just remember winwithwilly.com. winwithwilly.com.
All right, folks, give me a minute because I don't want you to miss, and I believe some of the people listening don't have to stay with us all throughout. But while I still have your attention, just want to remind you that Dr. Willey Jolley will be at the PMI Hall Friday coming. He would be speaking to the attendees, and everyone is welcome. There is no fee attached to this, and it is being sponsored by this radio station. And the manager of this radio station is behind it, of course, Don Hughes. So please, you have access to him. You can ask him questions,
Yep.
and you also would be, you'll be exposed to much of what he's sharing. We're trying to pack it in here in an hour, but I know I can't
Right.
because I even want to talk to him about what him and his wife does.
Mm.
Because you have a podcast as well.
Yes.
Uh,
We have a podcast, our marriage podcast. My wife Dee and I have been married for 41 years in June, and we have not had an argument in 39 years.
Mhm.
People don't believe that. I was on the Today Show in D.C. in America. I mean in New York in America. And they said, "You never had an argument." I said, "I didn't say that." I said, "We haven't had an argument in 30 so many years." Those first few years were like World War III. But we learned some wise principles from some wise teachers.
Yes.
And we did what they told us to do. Look here, write this one down, folks. There are two ways to get to any goal in life: mentors or mistakes. Now, both will get you there if you don't give up. One just gets you there with less headaches, heartaches, and knots upside your head. So we got some marriage mentors who told us what to do. We did what they said do. It worked. We stopped arguing. Haven't had an argument in over 35, 36, 37, 38 years. And then we put it in a book. And now people around the world are saying it changed our relationship.
Yeah.
We were on our way to divorce court, and it changed everything. We are back in love again. We're in a honeymoon. So I encourage everybody to go to, again, winwithwilly.com. Winwithwilly.com. You'll see one of the icons on that site is the marriage, Win in Marriage. Click it and go in there, and you can get free chapters from the book. One free chapter, one big chapter is our biggest chapter is on communication. Because see, there are three boulders that break up marriage: sex, money, and communication. Those are three things that break up marriages. And of the three, the biggest of them is communication. If you have good communication,
so?
Yeah. If you have good communication, you have a better love life. You have good communication, you have a better money life. So if you can fix the communication part, it fixes a lot of the others. Yeah. And so, sex, money, communication. That chapter, the communication chapter, we give away free to help people with their marriages so that they don't fight. They can get back to loving. They can have good sex. They can have lots of money. Okay? And so go get that at winwithwilly.com or just jollymarriage.com, and then watch the podcast on Jolley Marriage Show on YouTube, or join us live Monday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern on A Jolley Marriage on Facebook or The Real Willie Jolley on Instagram. And you can watch us talk about your issues.
Yeah.
That's people send in some some real interesting letters and say, "I have an issue with this. Can you help us?" We talk about it.
Get the link, I guess, to the website.
Yeah.
And everything else is available.
Everything. Just jollymarriage.com or winwithwilly.com and get access. And look, on the Win with Willie is all my sites. I got a youth. If you got children who are driving you crazy, I got something to help you with that. If you got marriage, we got something for that. If you want to deal with money, we got something for that. If you need to be mentored about success, we got something for that. If you want to be a speaker, you want to learn how to become a speaker, we got something for that. It's all on winwithwilly.com. Lots of sites that empower and inspire you. And let me give you something free, because I think it's important that we bless people wherever you go. The more you give, the more you get. The more you put out, the more you can get back. I believe in giving. And this book, Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better, is like another book. The book that changed my life. The first book I ever read from cover to cover. It's called Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich has made more millionaires than any other book other than the Bible. It was written in 1937 by a guy named Napoleon Hill, who interviewed the titans of business of his day. Rockefeller, Edison, Henry Ford, Andrew Carnegie, DuPont. He introduced the titans of business, and he took all those interviews and wrote a book. Well, it went on to become the #1 self-help book in history. Well, for 20 years, I've interviewed the titans of business of this day: Marriott, Bob Johnson, Sheila Johnson, on and on and on. And I put all that information into a book. And many are calling this book the sequel to Think and Grow Rich. And in this book, I say, rich is good, but wealthy is better.
So this is more like a follow-up.
This is the follow-up that take you from being rich to being wealthy. And anybody who has income and has discipline can create wealth.
We'll button up the conversation right there. But before we do that, I do need you to speak to struggling people who are struggling financially. Because you must have some type of recommendation as to how to survive.
These are tough times.
Right.
Okay, we're in tough times because in America we got unprecedented uncertainty. Gas prices are sky high. Inflation is back. There's a lot of uncertainty. We're in a war. And a lot of people are struggling. When America has a sniffle, the world has a cold.
Yes.
Okay? And so what we want to say to people who might be struggling, one, you got to have a positive mindset. You got to read and listen to positive. When you start saying,
say what? You said read?
Read. You got to read. You got to read and you got to listen. Your input determines your output. No good stuff in, no good stuff out. Great stuff in, great stuff out. So when I was broke and busted, had $200 to my name, got fired from my job, someone gave me that Think and Grow Rich book. That's why I'm telling people to go to wjwow.com. wjwow.com. I'm going to give you the Think and Grow Rich book digital. You can download it right now, free, because I'm going to give that to you to read that. Read Think and Grow Rich at wjwow.com. wjwow. Read, download the book on your phone, on your iPad, on your computer, and read it. Start with your input. That book changed my thinking. Next thing you do, you got to stay positive. You got to listen to positive daily messages. I send out a daily 1-minute video, free, globally every day on my social media. So when you go to wjwow.com, you're going to sign up. You're going to get the free Think and Grow Rich download, and then you're going to get a daily message from me. So your input determines your output. So when I was broke, I read Think and Grow Rich. I started listening to positive material, and my mind expanded, and it started growing. And then I started finding opportunities. Next thing I talk about in the book, the importance of multiple streams of income. I write in the book 8 streams of income that anybody can start to develop. Mm-hmm. That as long as you have a mindset, see, wealth starts in the mind. And once you've developed the mindset that I'm going to do better because I'm going to become better, then I'm going to win more. And that's what, so yes, I know people are struggling. I know it's a hard time right now, but I do know that I'm an example of someone who was broke and had $200 left. And over the last 30 years, I've made millions and millions of dollars.
You're basically saying that you know what struggling is like.
I know what struggle's like.
Yes.
Or I know what struggle's like.
You mean the positive.
I know it's like. I know what it's like. I know it's hard.
Yeah.
I know it's hard. That's why I don't want people to say, well, this is going to be, impossible. No, it's not. It's possible.
So the surviving technique is the remaining positive?
Changing your thinking. The Bible says, as a man thinketh, so as he is.
Yeah.
It also says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. That when you want to transform your life, you got to change your inputs.
Yeah.
Because that is where the thinking starts.
Yeah.
And think a thought, you create an action.
How do you respond to think big and be big?
Think big and then do big. And it starts with a decision. A decision. I'm going to change my life.
Yeah. And
I'm starting today. But you got to act on it. I've been telling people 2 little birds sitting on a telephone wire. One of them decides to fly away. How many little birds you got left? 2. Because see, until you act on your decisions, nothing happens. You must think it, write it down. One of the things I encourage people to do, write your goals.
Yeah.
What are your goals? And then act on them.
Yeah.
It might not happen overnight. My first book, Brother Wendell, is called It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life. And people say, does it really take a minute to change your life? Yes. The minute you make a decision and you act, move in the direction of that decision, you change your life. Now, will you reach your destination in a minute? No.
Yeah.
But you can change your direction in a minute.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let me interject here a little bit and make sure that folks know that you will be at the PIMA Hall coming Friday, not very far away. Today's Wednesday, so in a couple of days, and Dr. Jolley will be speaking.
And it's free. 8 o'clock.
Free.
8 o'clock. We want to help the community. And so come and just bring your pad, your pencil, and your questions. Okay?
All right. And that, starts at 8 p.m. So you can make plans if you haven't already done so for that evening to be at the PMA. Seatings are limited, so you would want to make sure that you come early and make sure you get a seat. Dr. Jolley, there's so much more that we like to cover. 60 minutes really can't pack it in. But I want to ask you, those who have read your book,
yes,
and those who would likely read it, what do you think you would want them to take away for the next generation?
Oh, that's why you're on radio, Brother Wendell, because you asked the profound questions. The book has two focused areas. You hit it, and I didn't even go there. Number one, all the people who want to be wealthy and don't know how to get there, they can read the book and learn what the wealthy people do who talk to me on my radio show. They can do what they did. Okay, it's like a connect the dots. Just connect the dots. That's the first group. People want to be wealthy, but don't know how to get there. But the greatest number of books are being sold with the people who are buying 7, 10. One lady bought a box. The people who have worked hard all their lives, who have struggled, they've saved, they've sacrificed, they've scrimped, they live below their means. They finally got a nest egg, but they're afraid that their children will not maintain it. Or as one man did after he read the book, he bought 7 copies. He said, I got children and grandchildren. And my greatest fear, Dr. Jolley, is my children will not treat my money like I treated it. And they will go through in months what it took me decades and decades and decades to grow. He said, not on my watch. When I leave here, this money has to be taken care of. And said, so I buy these books because my children and grandchildren must read the book before I put them in my will. They're not going to squander my money. That's not going to happen. And so he did. And so how do we teach our children? I found so many people who have children who they raise them, they pay for them to go to school, they help them get a job, and yet those children still come up every month a little short on their rent, a little short on their car note. Mom, Dad, can you help me out? And so one lady, I was speaking at a church. Lady came up to me at the end of the speech, and she's buying a book and wanted to sign. She said, give me a couple of those books, one for me and one for my children. She said, because you know my son. I said, I know your son? She said, yeah, you know my son. I said, what's his name? She said, oh, you never met him, but you described him perfectly when you said that. Yeah. Every month he comes up a little short. I done put him through school. I done paid for everything. And yet every month he's asking for $100, $200, $300. Every month. I've probably given him $100,000 over the years. She said, this has to end. And this book is going to be the end. He has to read it.
I know how difficult it might be for you to bring a lot of weight to the Caribbean. And what I'm getting at here is you're going to be at PMIA Hall on Friday evening. I was wondering if you would have books there.
How
would you be able to let people know how to get
that's a great question. We're working on that now because when I told Don I was coming, he said, bring a box of books. I brought a box of books. I went to New Testament Church with Pastor Nanton. He's my friend. On Sunday, he asked me to come up, say a few words, and he said, you got any books? I said, yeah, I got a box of books in my car. He said, go get the books. Just about all of them gone. We got a couple little books left. But we are working on right now how we can maybe take some orders on Friday night and then ship a box or 2 boxes or 3 boxes. So bring cash. Bring cash on Friday night. Because what we're going to do, we're going to take cash. We're going to order. If we get at least 28 people, we know we can get a box sent over here.
Okay.
And then we'll send them over. We'll have somebody at the station here or somebody, a friend, to be able to distribute to people their books after that. We'll take notes of who bought a book. We're going to do that because so many people. But I would recommend everybody go get a digital copy or the audio book at Rich is Good, Wealthy
And
is
that
Better.
you can do online.
Right now. Right now. You can get that right now and you get it fast. Okay. But some people want to physical.
Yes.
And I sign all the books. Before I send them, I sign them and they can get them there.
Okay, so to button up our conversation, I
Yeah.
think it's important that we leave something with our listening audience that might be a catalyst towards the change.
Yeah.
You talk about someone with an income, and I'm talking about an ordinary person who just have simply an income.
Yes, simple income.
And that can translate into wealth.
Yes.
And the means, if I'm wrong, please correct me here. The means are start living below your means.
Live below your means.
I'll let you describe what that is like in a minute, but let's get these 3 points in.
Okay.
Live below your means, start investing, and to ensure what you're doing, what you invested in.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
You're sure.
Living below your means, how do you
Okay. So
simplify that?
you
That
simplify
average
that.
person-
You have to set a budget. Okay. Everybody should have a budget. Again, I'm not a financial planner, but I do know this simple thing. What changed our lives? We set a budget. Okay. How much money are we going to spend monthly in groceries? How much money are we going to spend in going out to dinner? How much money are we going to spend in gas? And we started holding to that budget.
Yeah.
And
That's based on your income, right?
based on your and your costs and what your needs are.
Yeah.
And said, okay, we're not eating out. Look, when we got married, my wife and I got married, we lived in my mama's attic of her house. Top floor, no air up in there. And
No
no
room.
bathroom, no bathroom. We lived there for a year. We
Yes.
did not eat out one time. Not once did we eat out. We saved every penny so that we could get a down payment on a house. And that's what we did. So it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be some sacrifice. I might have to turn off the cable. Okay? Ooh, ouch.
Yeah.
I might have to do some things I don't want to do. I might have to limit how much I ride around, where I go to things. But when you make the discipline, wealth is about discipline. And so living below your means is making tough decisions. I got to make some tough decisions.
Yeah.
Where I'm going to spend my money, how much. Maybe you want to do, some people put X amount of cash, $200 into an envelope in cash.
Yeah.
And this is my money to play around with, to get stuff with, my fun money. When that money's gone, I got to wait till next month.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I need more. Nope.
I don't want to. I don't want to talk to people down, but we have a culture here, and we spend it dry to the point where, yes, you end up having to borrow to pay back later.
Yep.
So you're saying, in order to begin the process of living below your means, you got to start by making some sacrifices.
Make a sacrifice. One of
Doing
the
what you don't need to do.
One of the mentors in my book, who's a 97-year-old multimillionaire, one of the things he told me was, try not to ever pay interest. I said, what are you talking about? How can you not pay interest in today's world? He said, try not to ever pay interest. Well, what? I couldn't fathom what he was talking about.
Yeah.
But then he said, when you get a credit card, use it as a charge card, not as a credit card. Never pay, every month, pay it off.
Yes.
And never spend more than you got in the bank. He said, second, I know you got a mortgage, but try and get the best mortgage rate and get it paid off as quick as you can.
Yes.
Try not to get a car note. Get an old car that you can pay for cash until you can save money for a new car and pay it for cash. He just kept pounding that. So that was something I had to, I said, I never heard of such, but I did it. When I bought my car, it took me 2 years of saving to buy the car I wanted. I drove an old car till I saved enough to go buy the new car that I wanted.
Wow. You're speaking to lots of people who need to hear this.
It's hard, but it's worth it. I don't have a car note. When my wife's car needed a replacement, I had saved money. So we drove that car till the wheels fell off, literally. But then we bought another car, a nice car, luxury car, cash. I wrote a check. It developed a discipline in me. So now I buy stuff cash. And if I use a card, I automatically pay it off the end of the month. It's automated.
Yes.
This is a practice that I developed from these mentors. This all in the book.
Yeah.
As well as the 8 streams of income, as well as the ways you can invest, as well as the 5 types of wealth. It's so much in this book that'll change your life and change your children's lives.
And if you can live below your means, you'll be having something to save.
You have margin that you can invest
into wealth.
And here's the thing now, Brother Wendell. In today's world, you can invest in stocks in bits and pieces. Where you used to have to buy a share, Amazon might have cost $150, $200. Now you can buy $10 worth.
Yeah.
$10 worth of Amazon. You can buy it in little pieces. And you get a thing called a DRIP, a dividend reinvestment program, where you reinvest and it grows with compound interest. So just as that money might be $100 a day, in 7 years, it's triple. It's $1,000. It's triple. Because you were disciplined. Yeah. I'm not telling you it's easy, but it's doable.
Yeah. Dr. Jolley, why don't you just invite folks to come over to the PMA Hall of Fame?
Please come. It's a gift from me to you, everybody here in St.Maarten. Come Friday night, 8 o'clock, PMIA Hall. My friend Don Hughes is putting this on. PJD2 is my partner in this. We're not charging a penny. Not a penny. Come, bring your questions, bring yourself, bring your children, get in there. We don't have books for you to buy because there are only a few left, and they'll be gone by the time I'm sure by Friday night.
But you'll create the means.
But we'll make an opportunity for you. If you want to purchase a book and have it shipped to you, we can do that. And also, you can go right now to Rich is Good, wealthyisbetter.com. Rich is Good, wealthyisbetter.com, or winwithwilley.com. winwithwilley.com. And remember, I'm giving you the free book at wjwow.com. WJWow, Think and Grow Rich, the free book. Go get it right now, free. Read it and get ready to change your life, change your future, change your family, change your finances from ever and ever. God bless you.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate the fact that I was able to share this with you. Something else that I'm going to leave this with everyone.
Great.
The read part. Read.
Yes, read.
Read.
It's readers are leaders.
Reserve some time just for reading. You
Yes.
will always be helpful. Reading is fundamental.
Yes, that you get liberated by reading.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you,
Dr.
Brother
Jolley,
Wendell.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you so much. I'll close. Can I close with something?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
This is from my friend Les Brown. If you want to think
Say
better,
who?
Les Brown, the great one, my dear friend. He's 81 years old now.
Yeah.
He closes his speech with this. I was on tour with him for many years. He closes. I love when he says this. He says, "If you want to think bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and sleep for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it, if you gladly sweat for it and fret for it and lose all of your terror of the opposition for it, if you simply go after the thing with all your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold, poverty, famine, nor gout, picked sickness or pain of body and brain can keep you away from the thing that you want, if dogged and grim you besiege and beset it, aha! With the help of God, you'll surely get it. God bless y'all.
All right. That's how we're going to end it for today, Wednesday. Just a reminder, I'll be back at 5, an invitation for you to join me then. And also, it's on Facebook. You can go right back and watch it over and over again. Thank you so much for listening and for watching. We'll see you next time, folks. Goodbye.